It's the middle of the day on a Saturday. Not that you'd know it round here. It's absolutely fucking dead everywhere. Absolutely everybody's just going along with this. There's no resistance whatsoever. I'm out for my exercise, my allowance, my exercise allowance for the day. They've not collected the brown bins this week. Now our brown bins, we have all these recycling, that's your general waste bin. But the brown bins are for food, and they've not collected them this week. They've not said when they're going to collect them either, they've just said it's cancelled for now. Now I don't understand how, if there's this fucking pandemic shit going on, why would you stop collecting food, waste food? Surely that's going to create a pandemic of its own. There's the brown bin, see, not collected. So they're also talking about stopping collecting the blue bins, which is for paper waste. They've shrunk the size of our general waste bins. They've forced us into this recycling for the past few years. Oh, what, 10 years now? I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with recycling. I think it's a good thing. But they force us into that, shrink down our general waste bins, take down the bin collections to once every fortnight. This is before any of this shit started. Well, the brown bin now waiting to be collected. They're everywhere. And then when they withdraw these services, they're not upping the collections of the general waste. So you've got this tiny bin, it's half the size of this garden waste and food bin. It's half the size of that. And they're collecting it every 2 weeks. People aren't going to have enough capacities in the bins to throw everything away. They're also talking about stopping waste collection altogether. How the hell is that going to help anything at all? Why have these people all got bigger black bins than me? They've got full-size black bins. We're in the rich estate here, maybe that's why. Pisses me off. Anyway, here's a bit more news on the bins. Oh well, before we get to the bins, we're allowed to go to the park for exercise. As you can see, I'm in the park. Playground closed. So you can bring your kids to the park, but they can't play in the playground. It's bloody ridiculous. So, as you can see there's quite a bit of argy-bargy going on with the bins, and we'll get into that in a second. I'll also be getting into the fact, and I said this was coming, they're asking people to grass. Where I come from, you don't grass. You grass, you get your fucking house burnt down. We'll see how that goes, eh? Right, let's have a look at this first story anyway. Back to the bins. Blue bin collections halted as Derby waste crisis deepens. A lack of refuse staff in Derby has led to the suspension of blue recycling bin collections. Is that because you're telling all the staff to stay at home? I don't know, I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. The City Council says this will allow it time to prioritise its limited staffing resources on black bin collections. The waste collection situation has been going downhill since last week when the food and garden waste collections in the brown bins were suspended. Just like this is Derby, this isn't where I live, this is a couple of miles away. The following day, blue bins failed to be collected in the Derwent area of the city. Since then, blue bins have been left full in other areas, including Littleover and parts of Mickleover. On Wednesday, Councillor Jonathan Smale warned that the situation was changing on a daily basis, and he did not rule an option. I think that should be, he did not rule out an option, but there you go, of using the army to empty bins if necessary. Well, I mean, you wouldn't get the army doing that. It's just an excuse to get the army in, isn't it? Not that they need it, they've got them at checkpoints now, as you saw in the video the other day. The council is hoping to continue emptying black bins fortnightly in most cases. These are the shrunk bins, they're half the size of the normal bin. But is appealing for people to help in reducing waste and storing recyclable materials. That doesn't sound as dirty as it is, that, does it? Just store your recyclable materials. Most paper waste is clean, you know, it's just normal clean. What if it's been packaged around food though and it's got bits of food on it and you're storing that? Where are you storing it? In your house, where you're not allowed out of? Everybody's houses are going to stink. The council has issued the following advice. Ooh, there's that word again, advice. The rules in a week. Mandatory. Please only buy what you need. Cheers for the advice, knobheads. Especially when it comes to food. Where you can, try and buy products with little or no packaging. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. We're not responsible. This is what pisses me off with all this fucking Greta, that bloody ugly little shit. Where they say, you know, don't buy stuff in plastic. Stop buying, you know, non-recyclable plastic. I haven't got a choice what the manufacturers pack stuff in. I don't go in the supermarket and have a choice of, oh, I'll pick this without the packaging. I'll pick a drink in a glass bottle because glass is very recyclable. No, I've got to get it in a plastic bottle because they don't sell them in glass bottles. It's not a choice. The majority of, I don't know where these people live that say these things. Are they living in some bloody utopian world where they've got, they can just design the packaging as they walk through the bloody door of the supermarket? Arseholes. The majority of waste comes from packaging. Packaging like plastic bags and films can be returned to supermarkets for recycling. What? No. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be taking all my bloody plastic bags and bloody all my packaging. I'm going to take it down to Morrison's and I'll film it and we'll see what they say when I walk in with 3 bags of fucking shite for them. You can't do that. You should only use your black bin for things that can't be recycled, such as nappies, pet waste, sanitary products and wet wipes. Please do not flush wet wipes. Recycling can be stored at home without any risk if you rinse any food or product residue from it, such as plastic bottles, pots, tubs, trays, glass bottles and jars, metal tins, cans, aerosols, cans, paper and cardboard. Good luck washing those metal tins. Don't cut your hand on it, will you? Where do they think we're going to store this? We don't live in mansions. We all live in tiny little fucking houses. To make the most of the room in your blue bin, after rinsing, make sure you squash down plastic bottles. Yeah, because they'll only take it. They say not to do that because it gets too heavy and there's a weight limit on what they're allowed and not allowed to bloody shift about. Not that they have to lift the bin up to put it in, it's all mechanical. They just hook it up on the back of the bloody wagon and the wagon lifts it in. But they've got weight restrictions on it. If your bin's too heavy, they won't take it. Put the right things in the right bit. Yeah, stick it up your fucking arse, Derbyshire Council. Let's move on to my local council, Manchester, in Tameside. The latest on what's happening to bin collections in Tameside and when normal service is likely to start again. Well, you wouldn't know that because we don't know when lockdown's going to be over, do we? But they like to put these things in. It's like everybody in America at the moment. They're all saying, oh, it's our 14-day lockdown over. You ain't going to be locked up for 14 days, people. You're going to be locked up for months. That's just Donald Trump's way of making it sound great. Oh, it's only a couple of weeks, and then, oh, it's only a couple more weeks. Oh, it's only another month. Food waste collections across Tameside are being cancelled until the end of the week as crews try to catch up with missed rounds. The council says it will not be collecting brown bins for the rest of the week, while the waste department focuses on missed black, blue and green rounds. How many bins did they miss? What are they talking about? Brown bin waste includes plant trimmings, grass cuttings, compostable bags and cooked and uncooked food. Posting on its social media, a council spokesperson said our bin crews are working hard to empty as many bins as possible in difficult circumstances. However, we're cancelling all brown bin collections for the rest of the week to catch up with missed rounds. I know, you've just said that above. Pisses me off, newspapers, they always do this. We hope to resume a full service again next week. Thanks for your patience. I've no option. I'm not patient. I'm not fucking happy about it. Get it sorted out. Staff from the grounds maintenance department, these are the people that look after the parks, have already been redeployed to bolster the bins team to try and keep collections on track. Well, I'm pretty sure the bin men and bin women, I've never seen a bin woman, but you've got to assume both genders do it nowadays. I'm sure they're on more money than the park maintenance people. Are they all on the same wage? I mean, they're going to have to equalise something out here, because you can't just shift somebody from one job to another. So nobody's going to be looking after the parks now. The parks that they say, they're going to keep open because that's where we can go for exercise. Well, I've got news for you. The parks are shutting. They haven't announced anything yet, but I've seen little signs here and there. You mark my words, they're going to close all the parks. They have done in some parts of the country. They haven't done it up here yet, but they will. These, if they're going to leave any bins, leave the blue paper waste ones. They're going to have the least thing. This is food that we're talking about here, and garden waste. I mean, you put grass cuttings and bits of your garden, especially at this time of year, because everyone's getting out in the garden for the first time and doing it because it's spring. Even though one newspaper today announced it was the first day of summer, but there you go. It's the worst bins you could leave out and miss out. Anyway, it goes on. I mean, this is going to become a bigger problem because they're going to be missing them a lot. Our bin stinks now. This is the one that's really bothering me though. GMP, Greater Manchester Police, asks public to report people breaking coronavirus lockdown rules. Officers put out the request after taking action against a number of individuals and businesses over the last 24 hours. Members of the public are being asked to contact police to report people who break the strict rules in place during the coronavirus lockdown, as people continue to ignore the law in Greater Manchester. Officers in the region have taken enforcement action against a number of businesses and individuals in the last 24 hours, according to social media posts. Police have dealt with 21 incidents in which non-essential businesses have continued trading and have split up 21 large gatherings. A post on the GMP Facebook page said, people are only allowed to leave the house to buy necessities from the shop, to do one exercise a day, one form of exercise a day. Jesus, do you know, these people nowadays, they're thick as pig shit for medical reasons or for essential work, but they haven't clarified what essential work is. There's strict guidelines, but they're pretty flimsy on what they tell you can and can't do. Police have been given the powers to issue fines and break up large gatherings during the lockdown. On Friday, The Manchester Evening News reported that 150 companies in Greater Manchester had been reported over a 2-day period for failing to close despite the lockdown. Police have also been called to a number of large gatherings which break the government's social distancing rules. Anyone who sees large gatherings or businesses flouting the rules is asked to remake the reports online. They can do so via the Greater Manchester Police website or using the live chat service. People should only dial 999 in emergencies. Our 911 over here. The GM Post put up at 5:30 p.m. today, Sunday, said, "We've had to take enforcement action for a number of individuals and businesses over the last 24 hours. You should only, blah, 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 save the NHS, save lives, You can spread the coronavirus even if you don't have the symptoms. If you see large gatherings or businesses flouting the rules," they just, again, told you, they just repeat it again and again and again. Look, engineers were met with a nauseating sight when they drained the Niagara Falls. It used to be the Niagara. It's the Mandela effect, anyway. That video I pulled the other day showing the scene from 1984 of all the people, they're all there like that, look like the X Factor audience. This is the start of that. This is just it, report people, report somebody. If you see them flouting the law like that, they've had aeroplanes going over, and the little Cessna type jets, and I don't suppose they are jets, but whatever, the Cessna planes, and I heard about 3 or 4 of them going over. I was looking out for that. I couldn't actually see them. I couldn't see them in the sky. I didn't even see them on the sky cams, but I put them on. I was watching these planes fly over anyway. Listening to them and trying to see them. I couldn't. And then a few people on Facebook were saying, it's the police. They're looking out for people flouting the law, and then they're going to call the police to go to that area if they see them out somewhere. I don't know if that's true, because like I say, it's just shit people put on Facebook, and people bullshit all the time on Facebook, but I can believe it, you know what I mean? It sounds, they've got drones up, so it sounds reasonable enough, but how could they all they could tell from that is if there's a large gathering somewhere. If they just see somebody out walking, they don't know what they're out for. What, they're going to look down at and say, oh, well, they don't look like they're out for genuine purposes, let's send the police round. This is really getting bad now. And it's all for nothing. It's all for this hoax. Imagine if they turn round on the 1st of April and say, April Fool, we got y'all, you can go out. I mean, fucking hell. It's not good. It's not good. The hospitals are empty. There's loads of people showing that online. Flat Earth Fokker went out the other day. He went round all his local hospitals. MA did it today. Live streamed going round. He didn't go in them though. But they let down. And I've seen Brian Staveley showing it as well. They're showing all these people not at the hospitals. There's barely any staff there, there's no patients there, and yet we're being told, oh, they're overrun. They're all working so hard to look after all these people. There's nobody there. Everybody's told to stay at home. If you've got the flu, stay at home. Sorry, I mean coronavirus, not flu. Can't call it that anymore. What a fucking joke.